Yesterday, we left off while we are discussing about this creating a group like BPML file. So let's today see how to create a BPML file, and then like how to add the required elements and how to add scripting in this task. So let's see. So like once you have set up with your Eclipse workspace, what you have to do, you have to open this file and then new other and a flowable project, and the project name, for example, and then it will create me a new project in here. Okay, so once this new project is created, I can expand and see like these are the inbuilt Java libraries. Whenever I create a project, it will be like along with that. So in this folder itself, and then in this SRC main resource, I can see the diagram. So in this diagram only, we will be adding this BPML files. So I am right clicking on the diagram and view and other and global diagram. So it will ask for name. So for example, view, but oh, so whatever we are giving here should be the full ID. Like we'll be using that in the full process ID. So like better to avoid like spaces and special characters in here. So I'm giving my first BPML file without any space, and I'm clicking on finish. And then so once this is done, I can see like so I can drag and drop the elements from the left pane, right pane. So first I need to have a pool. So whenever we start, we should be starting with just a minute, guys. Okay. So in this container, it is sub process pool and main. I'm dragging and dropping a pool, and inside this pool, I need to have a start element. So every diagram will be having this element, and then I can create a connection by this. Like I can click on this, or otherwise I can select the connection from here, sequence flow or association. So better I'm clicking on this. Okay, got selected. So So if I click this new element, it will show what kind of elements I can connect with the start event. So now I'm going to attach a script task in here. So I'm clicking on the script task. So it is a sequence flow connection with the script task. And in here I'm going to end this. So I will select for the new event, create an event. So yes. So now I have like configured the elements I record for my BPM process. So like in this script task, I will be adding the script that I require like for creating any kind of committee or asset or attributes. So for that, I will be adding the script in the script task. Other than this workflow will not do nothing. Like just this is for adding a committee and adding attributes. So that's why I like configure these elements alone. So now let's see how to like configure the pool and the elements one by one. So general like ID name we can give like as well a wish. So it will be displayed in here this name. So I will give community. So you can see the name is changed. and then in the process, so this process ID should match with our file name, otherwise we can't deploy our workflow in Collibra. So whatever we have given as the file name, so like my first BPMN file, so that should match with this ID, and also this ID should be unique across all the workflows in Collibra. So for example, if we already have 10 to 20 workflows deployed in Collibra, so we'll be having some pool process ID over there, so it should be unique among them. So I'm having my first BPMN file. And then name I can give like, and then it will be like default, it will be like this activity.org text, but we should change it into Collibra API version 2, as we are going to deploy this workflow in Collibra. So I'm not able to edit this. This is www.collibra.com API version 2. So I'll add this in here. Yes, so this is done. So and then start, we need not to configure much, and the script task, if we see it, this is the name displayed in this script task, and like, yeah, if we want to have some meaningful name in here, we can change it in here, so it will be reflecting there. And in the main configuration we can have JavaScript code or Groovy. So as in Collibra documentation it is given in Groovy, we'll be going with Groovy, and like we'll be creating this script with reference of this Java API documentation, and then we'll be adding the script in here. Yes, and then finally done this end event. Like we will be now, let's see how to like add a script, how to create a script. So for if this space is like a little bit small for having any kind of like configuring the script, we can't find if we have missed any commas or any kind of syntax error. So we can have a separate Groovy file for that. So in this SRC main Java, I can create a new Groovy file as editing space for the scripts, some other, and then Groovy Groovy type, and it will ask for its name. So we won't be using this Groovy file while deploying this workflow in Collibra. Only this BPMN file will be deployed. So this is just for like for editing purpose we can have. So let me open this file. Let me copy the script task from here. Yeah. So as in Python, we will be importing the package, this add commit request, as we saw as in documentation. If we this API documentation, if I want to have community packages related to community. So we can see the classes we can add or change or find. So add committee. So we can see like how to like frame a builder. So what are the parameters? ID, name, parent ID, likewise we can be. So we need to refer this documentation, and we need to see what are the required parameters and what is the builder class required for this. And we can copy the package from here, like import or the com Collibra DGC core likewise. We can copy this package and then we can paste it over here next to import from there. And from like from this committee I'm importing this method add committee request, so that I can use that in my Groovy script. So once this is imported, I can use all the methods whichever present in this committee in Collibra's Java API. So now I'm going to like create a variable which builds my community. Like I'm going to save my builder class inside this variable my community. So if you see community.apa dot I'm going to add community, and inside that builder I'm giving a name for my committee and description for my committee, and yes, build. So this percentage we need to give this, and then we have logger API. So if in case after if once we deploy the workflow, if there is some error we can't know, like if the process ID is unique and the like pool process ID is matching the file name, we can upload the file. But if we have any kind of syntax error or any kind of error in this BPMN, like BPMN basically stands for business process modeling notation, like the diagram. If we have some error in that connections, so like we can have use this logger API for checking the errors. For example, if I set I use logger API.info and I'm printing some things and then my committee. So this is nothing but this variable. So this variable we having the committee details, name, description, and all. So I can check and see from console this. So let's see how to use logger API now. So in case of error, it will be very useful. So if you check logger. So we can print four types of we can have four types of method in logger API info, like info about a particular asset and warning and error and debug. So we are using this info in our script. So like once my workflow is successfully deployed and if I trigger my workflow, the info will be shown in this Collibra DGC console logs. So let's see once we deploy the workflow, let's see how this info we can find from the logs. So yeah, this yeah in this so this Java API script. So having once I have written my Groovy code, I can directly paste it in here. So in the script box, and then yeah finally end. So that's all. So I can save this and then I can deploy it in Collibra. So I'm going to this workflows, settings, and definitions. And we can see upload a file here. We can upload this workflow in here. Just a minute, guys. So if you see, I have already uploaded this Java API script 01 is underscore ZZ. So as it is already there, let me upload the second file. Like etc coming. So this file, like Java API script 01 underscore ZZ BPM1, I have already uploaded this. So I'm going to upload this file. So this is Java API script 02 ZZ. So yeah, let's see. Like this file will be adding a committee as well as domain. So if you see, let's discuss this Groovy script. So before that, so it will add domain as well as it will add committee. So I will upload this file. I need to navigate into my Eclipse workspace and Collibra API project I have created inside SRC main resource, and in diagrams our BPM file will be there. So I'm clicking on this and open. Let me try it again. I think I need to log in again. So please give me 2 minutes, guys. I'll re-log in and try it. So even if I re-log in, I'm not able to upload that file. So I need to check that. While yesterday I have uploaded this first file and it was successful. Now let it be, guys. So for uploading and deploying the file, let me check back whether this file have any kind of errors and let me come up with it today. So already I have uploaded this file in, like, I will like come up tomorrow. So already I have uploaded this file in Collibra. Let's proceed with that for today. Tomorrow let me check and come back. So I have uploaded this JavaScript gateway 01 is it set. So let me open the workflow details. So description as I given in this Eclipse, and the start label. This is the name of the pool that I have given in this Eclipse while configuring the EPMN model. And then this applies to global, so I can edit at this to particular, like I can limit to a particular company or domain, or otherwise I can keep it in global. So if I have this in global, I can directly search it from this global icon, and then I can start the workflow from here. For example, Java API script 001. So I can directly, if I click this workflow will be started. So I can make it global as if I think I need to limit it for a particular community or domain, I can add that add rules in here. And then so this workflow don't have any start event, so it is started manually. And yeah, this one we start, so we who can start and who can stop and who can resume the task in the workflow. I have given this privileges to sysadmin, and any signed in user in this Collibra CTC can start the workflow, and it will perform the candidate check while the users mentioned in this workflow. Some workflow will be having the stakeholders, committee managers, and all. So it will check whether the users are there in Collibra for that committee or domain before starting the workflow. Otherwise, in the start itself, it will say like this workflow requires business steward, but there is no business steward for this committee, so it will not start like this. And then, like only one workflow can trigger for a particular time and a particular resource. Likewise, we can check this box and showing global create. If I deselected this, it will not show in global create. So now what I'm going to do, so if we see this flow, this is the flow we have configured, and we checking here. So the name of the committee is this one. So I have already created this committee, so I'm going to name, like if I recreate the committee, I need to have that the access for deleting this committee, that then only I can recreate, but I don't have access to delete it. So what I'm going to do, I'm changing the new name in this file. So for example, 6, I'm having this today. So this car, like this new name will be creating a new committee. It will not touch the existing ones. So it is in edit mode. Once I change this, I can save, and then I'm going to start this workflow. So I'm going to start from here. Java API script. So we can see the workflow has been started. Yes, the workflow started, and let me, as I have access for this particular committee, whatever I'm trying to create will be created in this one, in this enterprise committee. Okay, let me search for that name, like whatever we have given in this workflow. So yeah, this is the one I have created. So we can see this committee, which like we have given today's date and the description. So this committee is created. Okay. So yeah. So like I haven't mentioned the parent ID of the committee for its. So in this Eclipse, we open the script. So if we see, we didn't mention any parent committee for this. Just we have given a name, description. That's all. So that's why it's creating like it is now a root committee. So inside this, I can create subcommittees. As I don't mention a parent committee for this, it is creating separately. So yeah, this is how the committee is getting created. Now let me log in into another lab and show how to create, like how to enable, like how this creating attributes and creating the relational workflows is going to. Just a minute, I will re-log in and come back. And I re-log in from the beginning. So sorry for the delay. So now yeah, let's see, like first the remaining workflows for creating assets and domains. So before that, um, okay, so let's again use this workflows to create a new community. And in that flow, we will be changing the name of the committee. And I'm saving this and then copying the name. So let me start this workflow. in this action. So this is the workflow we are editing. We start this and workflow has been started. So now okay, let's check whether not if it is created. So now we have logger API for this. So let's check from console what is printed in, like what are the infos we are getting using this logger API. So I'm going navigating to the home page. So in here in this dashboard they have configured. Okay. So in this dashboard they have configured this widget to show the console, but in our DGC it's our opinion to have it. So I'm opening this in a new tab, then copying the password for this console. Set a password. Yeah, username is print only. So for each DGC instance, so for example, if we are having two instances for our organization, dev and production, for each Collibra DGC, there would be a console. So inside console, like we'll be having this infrastructure, data governance center, monitoring, repository, search, job server. So for this, each one will be having logs, like for repository. So in case of search, likewise. So like for example, if we are having some issues with DGC, like it is bit slow or some features is not working, then while logging as the support ticket, we have to navigate through this logs, and then we can see the log file in here, and then we can download it, and then we need to send this to them so that they will be checking this what kind of error is occurring likewise. So we'll be mainly using this infrastructure tab for downloading the log files and getting the log details. So like this are the warning permission, because like I tried to add the file, like so I tried to add the file which gave me some error, so that like warning error have been stored in this console. So while I'm trying to add the uh, workflow, I'm getting some error that you don't have required view permission for this asset. Likewise, so if we see, so we can see the search query for I have searched this and it is completed. Likewise, and yeah, so if we see in here, I have started this workflow Java API script 01 and it is finished successfully. So the details, the session, the trace ID, the trace flags, everything can be seen via console. Okay, so
Nandini,
just a
just
minute,
one
please.
question. So is Job Server console and Collibra console are different?
In this for this DGC we are having one console. Inside this we have multiple tabs. For job server we have separate.
Okay, okay.
Like yeah, for that DGC for this API we left for this DGC, we are having this only one console is there, and inside that console they have like categorized into multiple tabs. For job server we are having separate logs like this.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'm checking one thing just a minute, guys. Okay, I have commented this logarithmic. That's why, like, the properties of my new community should be there in the console. I'm checking like why it's missing from the console. So I can see I have commented. Now I will remove this comment and I will rerun again. And let's see how, like, what are the properties of the new committee is displaying over there. I'll remove this. And then I need to create a new committee, or otherwise it will throw me some permission error. So I'm giving 07 in here, and then I'm saving. So yeah, the workflow saved successfully. Now I will start the workflow. So this is the one, and, looks pretty nice. Okay, the workflow has been started. So now let me try again by decommenting this line. Okay, I think this is the mistake. See, my committee in this, everything is small, and then in here my committee is in class. So I will replace that. Now let me save and start. And also I will change the name. So 07 is created this time. Let's run it, and I'm saving that. Okay. Okay, the workflow is successfully started. Now let's check whether our is created in here. Okay, it is created. So let's check the logs. So in here you can see starting the workflow, and this is the line I have in my logger API. That using logger API I tried to print this line. Here are my properties of the new committee, and then parent is null as it is a root committee, and the description is my first committee made through Java API, and the name is this one, 084. Likewise, we can use this logger API for printing any kind of error or any kind of like information, or in case of debug, if we are implementing like a big workflow, huge workflow, if we want to debug it step by step, and if we need to know like where the issue is occurring, we can use this logger API in each task, so that we can find whether everything is like everything is in place or not. Likewise, so it will be having. So yeah, this is the logs, and then we have other tabs. So backups. So if I have admin access, I can create a backup of my console. So if I'm doing like a kind of some changes, then it's better to have a backup. So usually we'll be having scheduled backup like a weekly once. Collibra itself will be taking backup of the DGC, and then we can download the backups from here. And if you want to add some files, for example, if we have to like have customized dashboard, like in our dashboard, if we try to integrate some other, like for example HTML JavaScript files, which Collibra is not supporting, then we can like connect with Collibra, we can have a coaching session, and then as per their advice, we can place the files in this Colibra's like backup, and then we can restore the backup from here. So we'll be having scheduled backup usually. So yeah, so and then diagnostics file. So in case if we are like during logging any support we get of, in case if you are experiencing some issues with Colibra's DGC, we will be asking to download and change this file. And console setting. So who are the people who have super access and admin access and read only access. So we are using this username read only, so we have read access only in this Collibra. Like the users can be seen here and configuration. So we can go through like in day-to-day perspective we need to work in here. So in cases, in some exceptional cases, if we want to change our control configuration, like for example, uh, this instant timeout period, for example, dev instance, if we are not inactively searching that page, that dev page, like this DGC's page, then it will like ask for us, it will prompt for us to re-login and give the password again. If we want to extend the time period, we can set that it in here if we have super role, or otherwise we need to connect to the Solibra's supporting. They will be like having the super role. So like not play. So this will be there in each console. Like they can only access and set some of the configurations in here. Yes, likewise we can adjust if we want. This lock. We can also have this console setting locks from here. Yeah. So and once if Polygon is changing something, if we are requesting for some changes in the configuration, then if once the Collibra changes, we need to restart the like console, so that the changes will be implemented in BGC. So we'll be clicking on this API VLAN, like in this one data governance like so for in here we have console API VLAN. That's why it is shown in here. So for example, if we are having some URL for our organization, that will be mentioned in here. So we'll be clicking here. There will be start and stop icon displayed in here. So for if we need to restart the console, we can stop the console. Then this all this running nodes will be stopping one by one, and then we can start. That's all. So this is how we'll be restarting the DGC from console. So in case of any kind of configuration changes or backup restoration, we are doing some changes in here, we need to restart the console. So yes. So let's then move on the remaining remaining. So this is how we'll be creating committee. So let's go on to this creating domains and the remaining part of the lab. So I'm opening this file. Let me go close the remaining. So this is Java API script to this file. Let's open it. Okay. So now let's see. So like the same full configuration, the start and end event, the same configuration, only scripters will be changing. So let's see what are the additional changes we are having in here. So let me open this Groovy file and I'll paste that over. Okay. So in the second workflow, we have add community. We are going to add domain too. So I'm importing this package for adding domain from this Colibra's Java API, and then I'm creating a variable for like builder class for creating a community. Like so this is as similar as the previous one. And then for creating domain, so what are the parameters we need? We need to check the necessary parameters like type ID and the parent ID for a domain should be, these are the necessary and compulsory parameters. So if we don't give any one of this, it will be ending up with error. We can't successfully create any kind of domain. So we need to check whether we are like adhering with the syntax and the required parameters are passed. We need to double check that. So let's see how to create a domain. So like community API, I'm importing this method and add domain. So inside this class, I'm having a domain builder. So I'm passing the community ID, so which is the my parent community. So in this case, I'm already creating a my community in this workflow itself. So I'm using this variable and dot get ID for getting the ID dynamically. So in runtime, it will create this committee and then it will get the ID from this committee. Like is it is at accounting 02, like that UUID will be like passing this committee ID. And then I'm giving the name, so it is accounting terms, and description, so this is a glossary, and then a description is not mandatory, but type ID is mandatory. So type ID will be like the glossaries resource ID, and whenever I'm passing a UUID in here, I have to use the string to UID, otherwise it will think that it is a string. So for taking this as a UUID, I need to pass this parameter string to UUID, and then I can like paste the UUID in here and then build. So for any kind for a community, we can have it as a root committee, so I can directly have this builder class, but for this domains it can be in separate, like it can be like a root domain, so it should be under any kind of committee. So I'm having a parent committee in here, so and as well as the logger API for my domain. So what are the characteristics of my domain? I will be printing, I will be seeing the log. So let's see how this works in Collibra. Okay. Yes, that was getting better. And then yeah, let's see how this workflows is there, like operating in Collibra. It's navigate to the workflow and change the committee, and then we can run the workflow. So, so this is the workflow. So I'm going to change the names of the content domains. So my parent committee will be accounting to today's date, or otherwise, for example, for identifying it uniquely, let me give parent. This is my parent committee, and then right. So inside this parent committee, this will be getting created. So I'm going to change this. See, okay, I'm copying the name, and then this is the one. I will start this workflow, and the workflow has been started. So let's check whether this committee is created. Yeah, this committee is created, and then we are having this domain created in this. So in this workflow, we have created a domain along with this parent community. So if we go on to this third exercise, so this is the one Java API script 3. So let's begin to this GUI script. Copy and I'm pasting it in here. So in this command, it's like it's fine till now, right? Or any other questions? No, right? Okay. So in this workflow, we'll be having a create community builder class and add domain builder class and add asset. So let's see. So I'm having a community, like I'm going to create a community. So it's just at accounting 03, and then I'm going to build a like a glossary type of domain inside that, and then I'm going to add a list of assets into that. So yeah, this is the like list I'm creating. First I will be creating the list, and then like this is the asset list I'm creating, and then I'll be using that asset list. I'll be parsing in this class add assets. So yeah, so that I will like for in this case I'll create a list of builder class, and I will pass all the builder class as a list into this asset API dot add assets request. Okay, so let's see what is in the list. So I'm creating an empty list, and inside asset list I'm going to add first builder class in here. So if you see add asset request or builder, so the name is paid in full, and the domain ID and the type ID I'm giving. So like so inside which for any kind of asset there should be compulsorily you have to pass a domain ID. So I'm getting the domain ID dynamically from here, whatever I'm creating in here. So this domain, inside this domain, this asset will be residing in, and then type of this asset. So it is a business asset. No, so that resource ID I am passing. Likewise, I'm having three business assets, the same resource ID, and inside the same domain. And then I'm going to add attributes. So name, and inside the glossary, the business domain, like this domain, glossary domain itself, I'll be having this acronyms too, and the acronyms, like acronyms license ID I'm passing in. Likewise, I am passing for three acronyms. So and then finally I'm creating the assets view, all the assets. So in console I can see all the 6 assets, including business terms and acronyms. All this asset details I can see via console, the name, description, and all. Okay, so this is the third exercise, how to add assets in bulk using the workflow. Let's see how it's deployed in Collibra. This is the Groovy script that we are using in the script task. So let me navigate into the workflow again. So inside this one, I will change the community, as it is already this workflow is successfully ran, and then this committee is created. So I can't delete and update the committee. So I'm creating a new committee inside it. For example, again I can see assets in bulk. So this is for testing, creating assets in bulk. I'm naming the committee like this. So I'm copying this committee name, and I'm saving. Workflow is saved successfully. So let me trigger that workflow. The workflow started, and let me search for this committee. Let me check the name again in the workflow. Let me start the workflow again. I think it's not greater. Or I need to like check in console once. Yes. If I have any error in my workflow, refreshing it. Okay, I can see this workflow started. And community name is enterprise community. Okay, the name of the resource is asset symbol. Name resource ID. Okay, let me check that again. So I think I have given in a wrong place in workflow. Hmm, okay, so I'm giving the parent ID like I'm not creating it newly. So what? Let me take this line. So this committee is not existing already. So as I'm creating it freshly, I'll take this parent ID from here and just giving name, description, and build. So let me save that. And then I'm triggering the workflow again. Okay, this already exists. Okay, if it is already existing in some other company. Okay, let me check that, or otherwise I will use some other name. Okay, so let me use some other name as a creating duplicates. So my parent committee will be right. See. Okay, now let me start our project. Upload started. Research that. Yeah, it is created successfully. And inside my committees, I have created this glossary domain. And inside this domain, I am having created this 3 business term and 3 acronyms as we saw in script. Okay, so this is successfully creating now. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. So it will be creating relations. Okay, this 04. Inside, we are only configuring the scripts inside the script task. If I go to this configuration, let us copy this blue script and check. So we can see here this add asset and add domain and add community. So we are including these 3 packages, as well as we are going to add attributes now, and in the 5th exercise we'll be adding relations probably. So for adding attributes, let's see. So this is for adding community, and then this is for adding a glossary domain, and in this list we are just using the previous one. So for adding like business terms as well as attributes like acronyms, and then now we are going to add the attributes, nothing but definition. So first let me create a list for that, and let me add each of the builder class into that list, and then I'll be passing that list into this builder class, like into this package attribute.api, and inside this class add attributes, so that it will be creating new attributes in this variable. Yeah. And then I can leverage this variable for showing the details in console using logger API. So let's see how they are adding the definition. So in the definition list, I'm going to add this builder class, first one. So inside this add attribute request of builder, we'll be giving the asset ID into which we will be adding, like, so the, like, for example, I need to add a definition for this paid in full business term, then I'll be passing that asset ID. In this case, already we are storing the assets in the list. So I'm going to take the first one. The first element will be we can use get 0 for like accessing the first element of the list, which is a business term. And if you see, the business term is paid in full, and second one is partial payment, and third one is unpaid. These 3 are business term. So for these 3 business term, I'm going to 0, 1, and 2. I'm going to add attributes, and yeah, and I'm passing this definition type ID, like, so this is the resource ID for definition. I'm going to add this kind of relation in this asset ID, and then I'm going to add the definition bar, like value what I need to add. Likewise, I'm doing for the same. So the account was fully paid, like this kind of definitions I'm adding, and then yeah. So let's see how this goes on in Collibra. Let me open that workflow and change the community ID so that there might be no duplicates and it will not bother the existing ones. So let me search for the 4th one. I'm going to edit the community name alone, so that a new community will be created and the domains will be created inside that new community. So this is one, the account becomes 04 underscore. So I'm copying this name and I'm saving this. So saving this, and then let's start the workflow. Okay, now let's check. The community is created, and inside community I can see this glossary domain that I have created, and inside the community is the business terms and attribute acronyms. And if I if I add check for definitions, so we can see the definitions for this three business term whatever we have ingested using workflow is successfully ingested in here. So yeah. So let's see how like this similar procedure will be using for adding relations to between the success and business term. So let me open this file. So yeah, till this attributes, it is similar to the previous one. So the definitions, yeah, in here, like the relations they are having in here. So yeah, they are creating a list, and then we are adding each of the builder inside that list. So if you see the first one, so for the relation, so we need to mention two type of assets such as head and tail. Like in case of connecting a business term with acronym or a data assets, like we are connecting two data assets like source to target mapping. So for any kind of mapping, it requires two assets, the parent and the like the head and the tail. Like we are connecting the business term with this one acronym. So acronym is the fourth element in the list. So first three is the business term and the second three is the acronym. So I'm connecting the first business term with the first acronym and second one with the second acronym likewise. So this will be the head and this will be tail, like we are having this relation between these two assets in Collibra. So the type will be like I'm going to have this relation business term has acronym. So for that has acronym relation, I will be having a relation resource ID. In settings, I'll be placing that ID. So in case if I'm like I need to like have some other kind of relation, for example, technology asset, groups technology asset, then I need to copy that resource ID from there in the relations, and then I will paste it and I will give the details of two technology assets ID in here. Likewise, so they are adding like they are creating relations for three business term in here, and let's see how it's deployed in Collibra. So again, I will change the company name so that we can create a new committee and we will be having our assets over there. Okay, so now let me copy that one. Might be the workflow interrupts some error. So let me check that workflow again. Okay, the parent ID is there. That's why it's giving some error. So I'm going to create a committee freshly. I will save this and start the workflow again. Yeah, the committee is now created, and then something terms, and then relations as acronym we have. Okay, so we can see the relation has acronym is added between this business asset and this acronym. So yeah, so this is how we'll be using this Java API documentation, and we can perform some of the operations inside the assets in Collibra using the workflows. So yeah, we have 8 minutes more. So let me just give intro about the next, like for this workflow we have 2 sample workflows. Let us just see first. So now this workflow is for like this workflow is for mailing a group of users like from the Colibra's console. So the scenario is as we saw in the PPT. So I'm go like for example I'm the admin of this Colibra DGC. I need to notify all the Colibra's users that like some configurations going on background and like background. And then so for example if I want to intimate that Colibra's DGC will not be available for 2 hours, 3 hours, so I need to mail all the users regarding this inside Colibra. Then I can use a email task. So this is the email task. So let's see the configuration. And if we see this configuration, so in the start itself I can get inputs of certain parameters. So in some workflows, while starting the workflows, it does not like for in Java API like this kind of create asset attributes. This workflows didn't ask any kind of input from me, but while I configure this start using this form properties, whatever like I'm mentioning here, the user should be necessarily filling that. So for in this case, if we see, I need to like I need to have recipients in my email group for sending an email. So I need to have recipients name, so to whom the email should be sent, and the kind of subject and message. These 3 parameters I require. So in the start itself I'm getting the input parameters. So for example, so this recipient is hard coded like if we see like this group. So the people whomever like in a kind of IT group, for example, sales IT group, like some group will be having that roles, like admin is a role and data steward is a role. So if I'm having 10 data stewards and I'm having a data steward group for them, like if I use that in here, then the email will be triggered to that people in that group. So for example, if I'm calling the data stewards or technical stewards in here, if I'm having 10 technical stewards, the email will be triggered to them. So inside workflow engineering, there are certain kind of users, 10 to 20 users maybe. So I'm selecting that as my recipients for this email as default. And then the subject, I can like I will be mentioning the subject. So what will be the subject, whether it is upgrade or what kind of message I need to send. It will be text area. So subject will be a string. It is a single line command, and text area is like a paragraph and a button. So I'll be having a button in that form. So send email, then the workflow restarts. Likewise, so I can add if I want to ask the like if I want to give some other details like timings and all, I can have a new element. So I'll be giving the ID for that and name for that. So for example, if I want to have a checkbox like yes or no, I can have the checkbox. So what is meant for, like um, for example, the checkbox name will be answer. Likewise, I can configure and the type will be checkbox, and we have the data types boolean, checkbox, string, text. So it will be radio button or otherwise whether it is a button. and then if in kind of expression we can configure, or in kind of variable if you want to like defaultly set, we can set. And if you want to have any kind of variable in this side the checkbox, like click this, click that, likewise we can have it in here, and we can configure whether it is readable, writable, or required. So we saw it is readable. If I enable readable as true, then who like the people starting the workflow can read that particular checkbox. So if I kept this false, it can be only like this checkbox can only be edited in this workflows page, like we did editing some of the country name, likewise we can do. So if it is false, we can't edit in the user interface, like starting the workflow while doing the start from the global create, we can't edit that. And writable, so any kind of person, like any user starting the workflow, whether they can write, like whether they can provide their input in this field or not. For example, I'm having a message. So like I have configured the message writable true, so that only I can fill something in the message, so that the message will be triggered to the user. Likewise, whether it is writable or not for any kind of user, I can configure and record. If I choose required as a true, then it is mandatory field. Otherwise, we can skip that in some cases. Likewise, I can add if I want to have some more checkbox, some more radio button, some more text box and all, we can add the from property, so that it will be asking the things to be filled by the users, and in the mail group I'll be sending this mail and then in. So let's see how this workflows. So this is a simple workflow for just only having email group task, and yeah. So in case of CC, if I want to have stakeholders in CC, I can do. And if I want to if I want to notify a group of people, then I can notify, like I can give that groups in here, like admin. It's from admin. If I want to mention that, I can do that in here. Otherwise, it's fine. It is it will be like from Collibra.com. Collibra TGC, as the mail is triggered from Collibra TGC. If I didn't mention the from and CC if I want, I can give, and the message will be displayed in here. So let's see how this workflow goes in Collibra. For this workflow, I need to navigate in some other instance. Let me check whether it is there in here. Let me try this up. But yeah, the workflow I have configured is in some other BGC. So for example, the subject, it is asking me like in here. So if you see in the start, while starting the workflow, it is like the recipient is default. Only three kind of input we need to give: subject, message, and button. So here subject, it is asking the email subject, upgrade, likewise, and message, please be informed everyone, like 3 to 6 p.m. the Collibra will not be available, likewise, and then I can send email. So this are the email. Like this workflow is having some error. So as it is already 9:29 a.m. Tomorrow, let's see how to trigger the workflow. Like I need to navigate into some other Collibra lab instance. I need to relog in with that. So yeah, like tomorrow, let's see how this workflows work in Collibra. Yeah, and then we can move on to this Collibra data quality lab. And yesterday, like I think, I don't know, Nitin or Naveen, someone asked how to create rule book and how to create assets in the rule book. So is that Nitin?